So in the last movie, I talked about one type of factoring, that in which you remove common factors. Second type is where we're going to look at quadratic expressions. Now you've seen a quadratic expression before. It's just an expression, or if it turns into an equation, it's an equation in which the highest power of your unknown, usually x, is x squared. Okay, now where we've seen it was when we multiplied out this bracket, x plus 3 into 3x plus 4, and we turned it into 3x squared plus 13x plus 12. Okay, that is a quadratic expression because you've got your unknown squared. That's as high as it gets. Well, what we're going to talk about in this movie and then the next movie and then again in a couple of weeks' time is how we go from a quadratic expression to something nice and factored like that. Now I'm going to start off with simple examples, and that's quadratic expressions in which there's only 1x squared. So notice this is too complicated for us right now. I'm just going to look in this movie at purely 1x squared plus some x's plus a number. Now when you go ahead and you factor this, you're going to turn it into two brackets, each of which has x plus a number, just like we saw there, x plus 3, 3x plus 4. Remember, we're not worrying about the 3 right now. Okay, so x plus a number. Now obviously the x squared comes from the first, if you like, x times x. The c comes from the number times the number. So therefore number 1 times number 2 is c. So therefore number 1 and number 2 are factors of c. And then where b comes from is b is the x bit, right? So that comes from the outer, right, x times number 2, and the inner, x times number 1. So in other words, b, right, this x coefficient, so to speak, is simply the sum of number 1 and number 2. So in order to factorize a simple expression like this, you look at what the factors are of c, and then you see which of those add together to give you the number b. Easier to illustrate. So x squared plus 7x plus 6. Let's factor 6 first of all, and it can be 2 times 3, or it can be 1 times 6. Now, if whichever one of these pairs is the answer of the pair of numbers that gives us 6, they must add up together to give us 7. Now, 2 and 3 add up to 5. Excuse the raspberry. 1 and 6 add up to 7. That looks good. I do a little ding, ding, ding kind of thing, right? So in other words, the factors of this are 1 and 6. So it's x plus 1, x plus 6. Now go ahead and check that. Pause and go ahead and multiply this out using the FOIL or the smiles and eyebrows, however you want, and you should end up with x squared plus 7x plus 6. Let's do a more complicated one. Now we've got, again, nice positive number here at the end, so we're going to factor 12, but now somehow those factors have to add up to minus 7. We'll start off with just regular factors of 12, 3 and 4, 2 and 6, and 1 and 12. 3 and 4 are 7. Well, no, we don't want 7, we want minus 7. 2 and 6 add up to 8. Don't want that. 1 and 12 add up to 13. Don't want that. So how are we going to do it? Well, remember, you can get a positive number by multiplying together two positive numbers, or you can get a positive number by multiplying together two negative numbers. So instead of 3 and 4, 2 and 6, 1 and 12, let's think about minus 3 minus 4, 2 minus 6, minus 2 minus 6, excuse me, minus 1 minus 12. Now, minus 3 and minus 4 add up to minus 7, so that looks pretty good. So the factors of this are now minus 3 and minus 4. So x minus 3, x minus 4. Again, please pause and check that when you multiply this out using your favorite method, you end up with that. Finally, x squared plus 3x minus 28. Well, how do I get a minus number here? Well, the way you get a minus number is you have a positive number times a negative number. So when I factor minus 28, I've got to do it with a negative and with a positive. I'm going to kind of cheat here and say that yes, you can have 1 and 28, you can have 2 and 14, or you can get for 28, 4 and 7. So I'm going to look at minus 4 and plus 7, or plus 4 and minus 7. Add those together, you get 3 and minus 3. We want the plus 3, so therefore the factors are minus 4 and 7 that we're going to use. X minus 4, x plus 7. Pause, check it. If you understood this, give yourself a smiley face.